The next generation telco will be the one that manages the digital transformation and the transitioning to IP in the best way. IP has revolutionized communication. It's a very transparent way of communicating. It allows all kinds of applications. So the applications applications business has been booming. A very good example is the smartphone and cloud business. So all applications today are run on an IP interface, use the cloud, and the smartphones look the same everywhere in the world. You invent an app and it can be used by millions of users everywhere in the world in an instant.
The next generation telco is something we don't really know what it is. It's a buzzword. On one level you can say it's a company that is much better in digitalizing societies than they are today. But on the other hand, you can say that we still need to build physical networks, and operators will still be, that will be the key role for operators. So there are two parts of it. One is the plumbing of the industry to build and operate networks. I don't think that will change much other than they have to just be more efficient, leaner and meaner when they do that job going forward. But the rest of it is the challenging part, how to be a relevant digital partner to its customers.
As a middle manager, you need to make sure that you're part of that whole innovation cycle. You really need to understand that, if no innovation happens in your company, you're out of the whole system very quickly. Okay, some companies, particularly in the Valley, have the cash power to buy in new innovative companies, but the more, let's say, traditional mortal companies, in a sense, they really need to keep innovation flowing within its own ecosystem. So you as a manager have a real responsibility to make sure that you understand the change of pace of innovation and keep innovating internally. It's not easy. It's not easy, but you need to have upstream and downstream KPIs, accountability. A lot of leadership needs to be shown. There's no magic, we know about it, but to execute on a daily basis is probably the biggest challenge.
The main trend we see now is the enormous collection of data, usually called big data. There's sensors everywhere. Google reads our email, Facebook notices who we talk to. So lots of this information is being gathered in huge databases and being mined. It's going to be analyzed to get better processing of information to give support for decisions. And eventually the next step is then the Internet of Control. We remotely control more things.
Well, first of all, I think that you, as a company, you need not to be protectionistic about the ways that you're doing your business today. You need to sort of step out of your comfort zone in terms of where do I make money today and how do I make money today. A lot of the digital innovations that happen are not that technical. In a sense, they're not sort of very advanced when it comes to the technology that they use. Rather, it's about quite basic ideas that you bring forward. But the innovation comes in the combination of the new technology, in new business models, where it's much more than actually the technology that is the innovation that you work with.
The challenge for the traditional operator to become a next generation telecom operator, I think it's very much about understanding the separation between the physical infrastructure and the services provided. So you don't necessarily have to provide them both everywhere, anytime. It's perfectly okay to own some physical infrastructure and share infrastructure with others and even use other telcos infrastructure where they have the cost advantage in order to provide a good offering to the customer.
Traditional telecom operator has probably the biggest challenge of becoming a next generation operator, because it has the biggest number of customers, the biggest number of legacy systems, the biggest number of legacy processes, and the biggest number of legacy people. And that is a major transition to go through to be relevant for the future. So on one hand, they are market leaders, but they have the biggest journey to perform to becoming a next generation operator.